What's up, tea drinkers? Who's ready to spill? Welcome to The Tea with KG, hosted by your girl, Kaylee Grace. Here you'll find your weekly boost of real talk mixed with laughter, healing, and all of those vulnerable, messy moments in between. The Tea with KG is a safe space for you to show up exactly as you are. We are here to share real-life stories from around the globe and be a community of love, joy, and celebrating life. This is a real deal show, so there will be coarse language and sensitive topics discussed. The most beautiful stories oftentimes emerge from the darkest of places, and we're here to explore it all. There's room for everyone at this tea time, so grab your drink of choice, spark it up, or just relax and soak it up. Cheers, and let's spill. What's up, tea drinkers? We are back with another episode of The Tea with KG. I'm your host, Kaylee Grace, and I have another amazing guest joining us this week, all the way from Hong Kong, originally from Scotland. We met in Australia. Let's just go all over the globe with this connection. We have the amazing Heather O'Brien joining us today.
Hi, everyone. So nice to see you again, Kaylee.
Yes. Oh my God. And we were just speaking before we recorded. We were like, how long has it been? It's been like 10 years. It's crazy.
Yeah, mental. We met on like the other side of the world, and then like it's baffling. It's like how time flies. It's just mad. I can't believe it's been over 10 years since we were there.
Legit. Like I was like looking at our old pictures because I was like, just,
I
wanted to go down memory lane. And I was like, oh my God. We met on the Atlantic Clipper, which is like, it's a party boat. Yeah. If you want to go to the
I totally forgot about that. What the name was.
Like, same here. I looked and I was like, oh my God. So yeah, party boat, beautiful Whitsundays. It was so gorgeous. Like if you're ever in Australia, I don't care where you go, you have to go to the Whitsundays.
Oh, 100%. 100%. It was actually, I would say Whitsundays and Fraser Island actually was my favorite part of Australia. Like,
right?
Yeah.
So gorgeous. And that's where we were together. Fraser Island too. You have a photo of me like holding an alligator. And I was like, I forgot. I was like, what? Oh, it's so good. So good. And this
so young,
showed you. Oh my God, I know. I look back, I'm like, oh girl, you've grown a lot since then.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the young 20s are always a good time.
They're a learning curve. They're a learning curve.
Right. You're finding who you are. You're experimenting with what works for your soul. You're like, for me, Oh my God, I was totally numbing my pain in so many ways. And then, you finally come to terms with all your trauma, the things that have happened. And you're like, all right, I'm going on a healing journey and here we go.
Absolutely. Like that's what Australia was for me as well. So.
Right. Oh, yes. So good. So I guess before we get too going on with our stories too much, we'll get the who are you and what do you do?
Sure. So my name is Heather. As Kaylee said, I'm originally from Scotland, but I have traveled numerous places. I'm now living in Hong Kong. I've been in Hong Kong now for 7 years.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah. And previously, Kaylee and I met when we were backpacking in Australia 10 years ago and just connected ever since. So, so what I do basically for work is I am a women's fitness specialist. I have my own business, HKM Fitness Coaching, and my main kind of ethos is empowering women through health and fitness.
Absolutely. You are in the right place today because we are all about that.
Absolutely. I am all for women empowerment. I'm trying to get women to, help them to build realistic, sustainable habits and achieve their health and fitness goals. I hate fad diets. I hate all of these myths are out there. It's just the health and fitness industry right now is an absolute minefield. So that is my job, is basically to pick that apart, to show women exactly how to do it in a realistic way. I absolutely love my job. I love what I do every single day. I love helping women. So like that's when I was what I do now. But I guess like before Australia, I was at university. So I've got a Bachelor of Science degree in sport and exercise science. And then I've always kind of been into health and fitness, really, with sport and stuff. But it was actually Australia that, I know we come back to that, but Australia was a massive turning point for me. It made me realize what I really wanted to do in life. And I came back, and that's when I, just kind of pursued my career in helping women and showing them, empowering them basically.
I love that. And I have to touch on what you said about myth busting and like not doing the fad thing. Cause girl, preach. I was like ready to scream from the mountaintops when you said that. Cause like, oh my God. Like again, when I look back at my younger self, I had so like little self-esteem and respect for myself. And I didn't like I always was active, but again with like that fad diet thing and like just what's the
Yeah,
next thing? Like what's just so desperate to love myself and feel good about myself when in actuality that doesn't come from all those things. It comes from within. But
yeah,
getting to that point and finally realizing, oh my God, wait, if I eat balanced and intuitively, that my body
yeah.
transformed and I wasn't even like I don't want to say I wasn't trying because of course you
No,
train, you do the things, but it was so and again I don't want to say easy. That's not the right word, but you know what I'm
no.
saying? Like
Yeah, totally, totally. That's it. It's something that it is because the industry is so saturated with so much info out there, and through no fault of anyone, it's really difficult. It's really
yeah,
hard. Like, how do you know if you're not someone that has ever like looked into health and fitness or has any kind of background? Like, how are you supposed to know what's right and what's wrong and what
right?
works and what doesn't? Like, and I
Yeah.
meet so many women who have come from diet culture and background
Mm.
things, and not only like spent a lot of time but also spent a lot of money as well on
Money.
these
Yeah.
like programs and these like it actually pains me sometimes seeing PTs
Yeah.
promote things and I'm like, can we please stop? Can we please stop?
Can we change the
This is
narrative here?
toxic.
Like, yes,
Yeah,
toxic.
like
100%.
yeah.
So
And so like
toxic.
I just don't want to just like lay the groundwork out there, put out what I do. I want to change women's lives. And also as well with that, like I'm also a pre and postnatal coach as well. So I work with a lot of women that are
So
I'm currently
cool.
pregnant myself. I'm
Yes,
30.
yes.
I know. I'm 33 weeks pregnant.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, forgot to mention that as
Congratulations.
well. So there.
I saw the baby pictures, but I was like, we can't see the belly, anyone who's watching, but oh my God. So
Yeah.
exciting. I can't believe you're that far along. Wow.
Oh, neither can I. It feels like yesterday that I actually just announced that I was pregnant, and I'm like, wait. We went for like what 6, 7 weeks to go. I'm like,
What?
what?
Oh, how did this happen?
I know, and I've got like, okay, we need to like panic buy. We need to like start like, where's my hospital bag? Where's the is the nursery ready? I'm like, oh my
Are
god, I
you
need to nest.
nesting? Yeah, I was
Oh,
like, is that
oh, absolutely. I got home like we literally got out of quarantine yesterday because we have to quarantine in Hong Kong still at the moment.
with travel,
Um,
right?
yeah, when you travel, like anyone who enters into Hong Kong has to try quarantine at the moment. So I got out yesterday and we got home and I just got home and I was like, I just want to nest. I was like, I just want to, I'm like a bird, like, or like, a dog when it goes around in circles, like looking to
Yes,
like sit down or something. I'm like, I just need to go around this nest, like,
yes.
make everything right.
Oh, 100%. And also like I was gonna ask like how's your pregnancy been? Like it seems like great, but again, you see social media and you never really know,
Yeah.
but it seems like, business is great. You're still what I love seeing too is that when you're pregnant, you're still honoring your body and your baby with
Hmm.
your exercise and everything like that. Like I think that's so important.
Yeah, this has been a massive journey because I've obviously trained women for years now that are pregnant and postpartum, and now it was kind of like my time. So I've had to practice what I preach, and put
Yeah.
that into practice, and it's been the best learning curve as well for me to actually go right when I've been doing this. I know what it feels like now because it's great. You
Yes.
know everything on paper, all the stats, all the education, all the learning behind it, that, but actually feeling it is way different. And I
Oh,
have to say, like,
totally.
I'm very, very lucky and very grateful that I've had a very relatively easy pregnancy.
Yay.
I know a lot of women absolutely don't. So it can be really, really tough, difficult. But yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I've always known that I wanted to be pregnant and
Yes.
embrace the experience because I want to be able to promote it as much as possible. And I'm so thankful that I was able to, because it's so important that women do exercise in
Mm,
some way when they're pregnant, because it's
yes.
a lot of times I hear stories from clients that that have gone from like doctors and they said, oh, you should rest, like you should not exercise or whatever. Now that's fine if you've got any complications or kind of any doctor's recommendations, that's fine. I know a lot of people that can exercise, but off the bandwagon, like bandwagon straight away to say don't do anything, it doesn't mean you need to be going and powering weights. You don't have to be
Exactly.
going crazy. You can just go for walks and
Walks,
swims and,
right? Yeah.
cycles, or, just anything that gets your body moving, because it's not about, it's not necessarily about this whole, and that's all another story, the whole bounce back thing. I hate the whole bounce back thing, and mums
Right.
are expected to bounce back. That's absolute rubbish.
Right? It's like you've just carried a baby for 9 months. You just delivered that baby. Your body needs to recover. Like,
Well, exactly. But it's
yeah.
also about, like, for me, it's like labor is probably going to be the most physical challenge I'm ever going to
Yeah.
do. And I have to help my body. I have to try and do what I can to make this, I mean, I say in quotes,
Yes, air
enjoyable
quotes.
or
Yeah.
pleasurable experience. But I want to look back and go, do you know what? Like, I really gave my body the best opportunity I possibly could to birth
Yes.
this baby.
Mhm.
And obviously there are massive postpartum benefits to exercising, but yeah, it's a whole journey, girl. I'm vibing
Yeah.
it.
Oh my God. I was gonna ask about that because, like, same here. Like, I always, since I've been a child myself, I've always known I want to be a mother. Like, I'm curious about that experience. But again, speaking on, like, the body stuff, I'm always curious too. I'm like, is that gonna trigger me when my body starts to change? Like, how am I gonna feel about that journey? But
Mhm.
what I'm hopeful for is, given I'm like, well, it hasn't happened yet because it hasn't been meant to happen yet. So I'm thinking, when I do have that experience happen, all the inner healing and work I've done on myself, I feel like, I'm hopeful anyway, like you, I'll embrace it and I'll be like
Yeah.
loving all the parts of it, even if there's stuff that's not that enjoyable. That's
Yeah.
like what a hope would be for sure, because it's such a blessing too, right?
It is, and that's the one thing that I've always kept close to me the entire way through, that I am incredibly grateful that I have been able to conceive and carry a child.
Yes.
And that is always resonates really deeply with me. Because I know it's no one knows. Like,
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm having a little boy as well.
Oh,
So
yay.
hence why I'm wearing blue as well today. I just thought I
Yes.
would channel those vibes. But yeah, it's a blessing to be able to carry a child as well, and kind of just like
Yeah.
just embrace everything as much as possible. And don't get me wrong, it's not all been plain sailing. There are a lot of your body changes, and that's
Mhm.
one thing I wanted to make clear as well, that yeah, it has been challenging sometimes to see your body change, because obviously you are going to put on weight, you are going to
Yep.
have a bump, and your body is going to change, and it's not going to be able to move in certain ways, and you've got aches and pains, and
Yeah.
granted, mine's been not as bad, but some women have a horrific journey. They're
Mhm.
incredibly sick, can't move from the bed, and that can go throughout the entire pregnancy. So, it's, I guess it's just kind of looking for those channels of, what can I do for my pregnancy, because everyone is so different.
Yeah, I love that. It's like, yeah, it's like, what is in my control? What do I
Yeah,
have the choice over right now? I think
yeah,
that's so important. And not only in pregnancy, but in life, right? And I think what you
yeah,
do, it's so big on that. And I think that's so important, is like, what do I get to choose today? Like, what do I get to do for my
yeah,
body? And changing that narrative too, it helps so much, because it's not you have to, you get to. You should want to honor
yes.
your everything, because we are
That
beautiful, like, right?
that is my ultimate, like, kind of message that I put out every day. It's like, it's not the fair that you're like, I have to work out or I have to train. It's trying to get women to, like, see that, I get to train. I have a body that I'm able to train. I'm able to do this.
Yeah.
Same with pregnancy. Like, I'm able to do what I can, and it's kind of appreciating that body, and also more so postpartum. It's like,
Yes.
it's trying to remember, like, I remember I have to remind clients all the time that it's not about, weight loss and things like that afterwards. We have to get you to be functional as a mum. You have to be able
Yes.
to move and to feel good and to have energy in order to care for your child. But not only
Mhm.
that, be also a wife or a girlfriend, or an employee, and be the best person that you can, with so many challenges going on. And
Yeah.
that's, seeing women appreciate, like, you have carried and made a human inside
Yes.
of you. That is incredible. It still baffles me. Like, that's the one thing that's
Oh,
why I got into female
right?
fitness. It baffles me. Like,
it's wild. Women, we are superheroes. Just like
oh,
what our bodies can do and what our bodies like go through just on the regular day. It's just like, wow.
insane. Like, I find it the most incredible machine because it is literally just a machine. Like, I didn't do
Yes.
anything. I didn't switch any buttons. This child just grew inside of me, like,
Yeah, your
for like
body
9 months.
knows. Yeah, and I think too we have to remember our bodies are very intelligent. Like we are intelligent beings, and like you don't sometimes thinking a little less about things is actually better because your body's going to respond. Your body will tell you,
Yeah.
yes, I like that. No, I don't like that. Yes, that works for me. No, that doesn't work for me. Because, like Heather was saying, I'll just use exercise as an example. One, it comes down to what you like. And two, your body, we're all made different. Like I'm very bendy. So yoga comes very easy to me. But not only that, I love it because it's very spiritually healing for my soul as
Yeah.
well. So that works. But it doesn't necessarily mean that you like have to go like that if that's what your body does. You're going to know what you like. And you have to remember too, if you've had injuries, if you have joints that maybe aren't working the same, honor that. It's okay.
It's
It's okay if
okay.
you got to go low impact. That's fine.
Yeah.
Still moving
Yeah.
your body.
Exactly. You're literally saying the words that I say every day.
Yes.
Literally, Kelly. Like, you're so on board. Oh,
I
you're
knew this
hired.
was going to be good. I knew this was going to be a good one. I love that so, so much. So, I guess too, like, we'll get a little bit more of your story in particular, because, like, in life, so many things impact us and shape us. And my God, everyone listening knows I got a story with that. And we all do. I'm just curious, like, what kind of impactful moments happened for you to kind of get you where you are now? Was there anything big, little? It doesn't have to be big, it can be small, anything.
Yeah. I think, like, going back to what I said earlier, I think like Australia was a big turning point
Hmm.
for me personally, because I went there after university and
Yes, me
I
too.
didn't, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. But I wanted to kind of like, I know it sounds like cliche, but kind of find me and find my
Yeah.
passion and what I wanted to do in life. I always loved health and fitness. And I remember even going into university, I remember saying to my mum at high school, I don't know what I want to do. I want to go to university. I want to study further, but I don't know what I want to do. And mum was like, well,
Yeah.
do something you enjoy. And she said, well, you love sport, Heather. That's what you've done since a child. So why don't you go to university and do that? And I said, first of all, I said, can you do that? Can you study
Yeah.
sport? And she was like, yes, of course you can. So I did, and I absolutely loved my course. But then
Mm.
still didn't really kind of know what
How
pathway
do
to
I
go down.
apply it? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So going to Australia was like the biggest thing for me, because when I was in Australia, I actually landed an incredible job. I think it was actually, yeah, it was just before I think I went and traveled the last little bit. Um, so my background is in horses, so I've been a horse rider my
Yes.
entire life.
Yes. I used
Um,
to do that as a child too. That's so funny, the synchronicities. I'm just like, yes.
I know we're like on the same wavelength. I'm like, yeah,
Right?
yeah. So yeah, it was a big out, and I went out there and I got just a working student job in a kind of a riding yard.
Cool.
Found out as well that the lady who owned the yard was actually the coach for the Australian Paralympic dressage team as well.
What? Oh
And
my
this was back in
God.
like this was 2011.
Yeah.
So no, sorry, this was 2010 actually.
Okay.
No, 2011, sorry, because it was running up to the Olympics in 2012.
Yes. Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. And they were going all through their preparation events and all kind of training and stuff. When she found out my background in sports and horses and that she asked me, do you want to come on board and kind of help and travel and stuff? So I did gym programs for and worked with a lot of the athletes there. I traveled with them to their kind of
Wow.
selection events, and
What?
just it was the massive eye opener, because obviously it was para athletes, and they are truly the most inspiring people I have ever been
Yeah.
around.
Next
And it made
level.
me, I think that was like, I always talk about like my story and how that was a pivotal moment in seeing them achieve the most incredible things and love life. We traveled, we stayed in like random little like kind of places, and we had
Yeah.
such a laugh and made great memories together. And I think coming back from that, I just kind of had a whole perspective on life of you think twice about everything that you do and how you feel, and the opportunities that you can have, that anyone can do. So I came back, and then that's when I actively pursued going down the kind of like coach route, and then working with women specifically. But it was really that kind of that moment in Australia that made me think, I freaking love this. Like I want to show anyone at that point that you can do anything you want to do. Like if you put your heart, like no one should ever be told I can't do something. If you want to do something, try. Like just go for it.
And if it's meant to be for you, it will be for you. And if it's not, it'll redirect you into whatever is for you. No matter what, trying something is going to lead you to whatever it is you're supposed to do. And maybe it's just that. But don't, I can attest to that, being like afraid. Even this podcast, it took me so long I knew I was going to do this for so long before I actually got up the courage to hit the record button to do it.
Yeah.
And it's just taken off since then. And I know it's because I'm supposed to be doing this and getting to connect with amazing people and share their stories and inspire people and show our world you're not alone. Like we are in this together. Yeah. I just live for it. And it's just so good. So I totally feel you on that. Like when you feel that in your soul and you're like, yes, this is what I'm supposed to do. It cannot compare. Yes. Yeah. I love that story so much. I didn't realize that was what you did there. That is so cool.
Yeah, it was super cool. I was there for 6 months. Or just under 6 months, I think it was. And then I just spent the last couple of months traveling. That's when I met you. I went up the East Coast.
Yes.
Yeah. And then flew back after that. And I was like, right.
And you hit the ground running. Yeah. Wow. So did you start your business in Scotland, or did you, I'm trying to think, do the math in my head, or was it something you did in Hong Kong or transitioned over, or how did you do that?
So when I went back to the UK, I moved to Edinburgh, mainly because my sister was there studying, and there's not much in my hometown for kind of what I wanted to do. I just wanted to get out and just experience a little bit.
I feel that.
So I moved to Edinburgh because she was there as a connection. I kind of just, found my feet. I went out and found a job. I got a job as a receptionist in a fitness center. And kind of just submerged myself in that. And then I got a job as a health and fitness manager of a women's only gym. And that really kind of sparked that, working with women specifically. Yeah. And I kind of did, because I did my gym instructors level 2 and all of that kind of like in university. So I was just teaching classes and doing I went through all my qualifications with them as well, and really enjoyed that kind of it was a very small niche gym, but it was a great community of women that were, you knew everyone local and everything like that. And then that's where I met my now husband. And he was the one who actually wanted to go to Hong Kong. He actually should have probably, I think, almost about left before we met. But he'd worked in Edinburgh for a while and wanted to go to Hong Kong for experience and get out. And I said to him at the time when we met, I said, well, I did Australia and that was the best year of my life. And I think everyone should have that opportunity. I said, if you want to go, you need to go. But at the same time, I was like, what are we doing?
Well, because it was new, right? Yeah.
It was relatively new. Yes. We were 6 months, a year, I think. And I was totally you should do that. And he was like, well, come with me. And I said, well, so I would, I kind of have to think about me. I'm like, I'm not just, going to move. I need to think. So he went first, moved to Hong Kong. And I didn't know what to do, because I was like, oh, I'm going to be leaving again. And I remember sitting crying to my mom in the kitchen. I'm like, because I was like, I want to go. I was like, I really like this guy. And I was like, she's like, Heather, she's like, you've got to go. She's like,
your mom sounds amazing. So supportive.
Like, what's the worst that can happen? She's like, just go. She's like, if you want to see and, see the world and and be with him, then you should do this. And I did, and I have never looked back. And we have had, we're now married together. We have a baby on the way, and we are, it's the most amazing thing. So I started my business here, because that was one thing. When I got to Hong Kong, I realized that there was a massive market for, women in gyms and things like that. Number one, because gyms are very expensive out here.
Okay.
And there wasn't many, there's a few women only gyms that are here, but I didn't really know much about them, and I wanted to create a space where people felt comfortable and relaxed,
Yes.
not too like, scary gym
Yeah,
kind
not
of vibe.
judged. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, totally. And it's especially if you're someone new to fitness, it can be very intimidating, especially if you walk in the gym and you don't know what to do with anything. Like that can be a very scary feeling. So I love that you incorporate that safe space because I think in general in life,
yeah,
everyone should feel safe and welcome where they go. So that's so good.
absolutely.
Mm.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, and then it just started from there. So just doing kind of like classes outside. And then yeah, here we are today. Yeah,
Wow, growing, booming. That's so
growing.
freaking cool. This is a random question. You just said you did stuff outside. What's the weather like in Hong Kong? Is it hot all the time there?
It's very, very hot. I'm sweating right now. I have the aircon on and I'm like glowing. I've got no makeup on. This is not highlighter. This is like just sweat. Pregnancy sweat on top of that too. You know, there's a whole other level when you're like in a very humid country and you're also
Yes.
33 weeks pregnant. It's just not good.
Oh my God, you're amazing. You're like, this is not highlight. This is
This
sweat.
is not highlighter. This is my natural sweaty face. I've forgotten how sweaty it is. I've been in the UK for 3 months and I've come back
Yeah.
and I'm like, it's not necessarily the heat, because I mean the heat is about, at 28, it can range up to like 35 at the moment.
Hmm.
But the humidity, oh my God, it's like walking
Yes.
into an oven, and you never get, I say, used to it here. You just learn how to live with it. Like
Yes.
it's just life.
Yeah,
So
because it ain't
yeah.
going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere. No. So, I mean, summer, I was like, I'm going to get out of Hong Kong for most of the summer pregnant. So I can at least spend that out and then come back. And I'm just going to have to be mindful of heat and stuff. But our
Yes.
winters are lovely. Our winters are very
Mm.
nice. That's like,
It looks like I haven't been there yet, but it looks like such a cool spot. And my partner, he's been there a few times. So I was just curious. I was like, I wonder what it's like there because I haven't
oh,
been yet. But
it is a fantastic city. Like, I would
yeah.
100% recommend anyone, if you ever, it's very much a stop off, like if you're transferring. So people don't usually get a lot of time to stop off. And then obviously with, COVID in the last couple of years,
Mm.
it's a bit difficult at the moment. We have a lot of regulations that we have to, the whole world's kind of moving on, and we've still got these things in place. So it's
Yeah.
fine. It's getting better. I mean, you're always kind of hopeful and fingers crossed, but
Mm.
it is a fantastic city. Like, I love Hong Kong. I love the people here. I love the way of life. It's not what people think. And a lot of like my family that have been over, they've been and said, this is not what I thought.
Yeah.
No one has an idea until they're actually really here. I think what you see on TV and media and stuff like that, everyone has a perception of different
Right?
countries. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, totally. It's totally true. Like every country, I think people, if they haven't been there, they have like an idea in their head what they think. Like, especially people who haven't been to Canada, they think it's like igloos.
I
And I'm
know.
like, no, not quite.
It's one place I've not been yet, and I would really love to go. Like,
Yes.
but it's so vast, Canada. It baffles me. Like, it's so big.
Oh yeah. And that's the thing. I feel like unless you had a lot of time to be here, you would have to pick like a coast or like
Oh yeah.
plan your trip out. Like obviously I'm an East Coaster through and through, but I would say if it was your first time coming here, I definitely would say Vancouver, BC, because like not only do you get the cool city, but like there's so much cool nature, like just right there. So you kind of get the
Oh,
best of every world with the mountains, the ocean, the hiking, if you like that kind of stuff too. So best of both worlds. Don't get me wrong though. If you had the East Coast, summertime would be the time to go, and it's like so beautiful, very very gorgeous and outdoorsy kind of stuff. But if you're looking for a
yeah.
city like mixed in there, definitely Vancouver.
I think it's very similar to Scotland, like in terms of like the scenery and the views and stuff like that. But yeah, I would love to go and just experience Canada, because I know so many people have been out there, and
Yes.
it's the dream. Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Well, one day it will happen.
One day on the other side of the world.
Oh, I know. Oh, also, yes, everyone listening, we were trying to schedule this call, and I was like, okay, wait, what time is it there? Because it's Friday where you are, and it's Thursday where I am. So
It's Friday morning here. Yeah. So I was
Yeah.
like, I was on my phone, like Googling what is the time difference. And I was like, no, is that definitely the right time?
I
Like, no,
know.
that's no. I was double checking and triple checking. It's
I
like,
did too. We are the same person. I literally did the same thing. I'm like, what if it's not though? I'm like, what if it's different? Like I was
I
doing the
know.
same thing.
What if Google lies to me? You're like,
Yeah, yeah. What if this isn't the right Hong Kong time? What if there's
I
more than
know.
one time? Yeah.
Well, that's the thing
I
as
did
well,
the
is like I
exact
get mixed
same.
up with home because we don't have, like in the UK, obviously we have daylight savings, so our clock was forward and back, but
Yes.
like Hong Kong we don't. So I'm
They
always
don't.
conscious.
Oh.
No, so I'm always conscious of other countries. I'm like, wait, do they go forward an hour or back an
Yeah.
hour? Have they changed? I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't know. I don't know.
Too much time calculations over
Too
here.
much time calculation. Yeah, it's a nightmare.
I love that we both did the same thing though. That's so funny. I was going to ask too, with like your business, what are some challenges you face? I guess not only as with what you do, but as an entrepreneur, because I feel like being an entrepreneur, it is a journey to say the least. Like there's always those ebbs and flows, right? And I love
Yeah.
hearing from all different kinds of entrepreneurs because I think it's so inspiring for anyone who wants to go out there and do what you want to do. Hearing from people who are doing it, like that's what's
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, like I would say obviously as an entrepreneur, as you say, like I work for myself, I have my own business. So whilst like that, I very much I suppose in the last couple of years has been, a lot of people are kind of moving into that space where I'd like to have my own business and things. There are challenges like any other business working for someone, but the main one I'd say is the fact that you work for yourself. So if you are going to go into, running your own business, it has to be number one, something you're passionate about.
Yes,
Because if you're not passionate about it, then you will not show up every day.
that's
And
right.
there's like challenges, you have to show up because, if you don't show up, you don't put the bread on, the food on the table and the
Yeah.
roof over your head. So, doing it, it's you work, especially in my kind of job as well as a coach, we do work slightly unsociable hours because people are
Mhm.
wanting, early morning sessions and
Yes.
evening sessions. So, that's something that's never been a problem to me at all. Like I'm not phased by that because I love my job. It's a
Yes,
passion. But if you didn't, that could be a challenge for a lot of people, is to kind of, feel like you're plowing through mud.
that's
Um,
right.
and I'd say, like, main challenges in terms of, like, from the fitness point of view, my main fitness or my main kind of like challenge, I would say, for a lot of clients that come on board is just that it's getting them to believe and trust the process of
Yes.
this sustainable and realistic lifestyle, because so many people have come from, a background of quick fixes and
Oh,
expect,
yeah.
weight loss to drop like that. And sometimes when you've got to say this is a longer journey, that's something that can take quite a lot of brain power to get their head around. This is going to take a little bit
Totally.
longer than what I've done in the past.
Yeah,
Um,
but you'll be able
yeah,
to maintain. Like that's so key. And I freaking
yeah,
live for the fact that this is how you do it because it's the only way that works. And it's
it's the
like,
only way that works. Yeah,
right? Like when you're training, your muscles, like what we're saying, physically, your body will not transform overnight. If it does, sorry to break it to you, honey, it's not going to be maintainable. There's no way.
no,
Your body
no,
cannot be starved. Your body needs to be nourished. It needs to be honored. But it's the same with like I think mindset is such a huge part of our health,
massive.
right? And it's like retraining your brain is the same as retraining your body. Like you have to tell yourself, like you're saying, it's I'm going to stick with this because I know in the long term it's going to benefit me the most. So, love
Yeah,
that you do that.
yeah. I like that's something that's really important to me, because I see, so many women that do want to just drop the weight, and it's getting them not to focus on the weight. It's getting them to
Yes.
focus more on, how they feel and how their clothes fit. It's getting them to focus on simple things, like a lot of the mums. I'm like, okay, well, can you run around with your child? Can you bend down with your child?
Mhm.
Quite easy without any aches and pains. Are you able to, pick up numerous shopping bags and have a child in your arms at the same time
Yep.
whilst you're opening the car door? Are you functional? Like, how do you feel? And it's basic things like that people forget, and rather than just a number on the scales, because that doesn't tell you absolutely anything.
Preach,
Nothing.
sister. Preach.
Like,
It is your relationship with gravity, and that's it. It is
yeah,
not the be all end all. And like, everyone's body's different. Like if you were to look at two people who you might think are the same weight, I guarantee they're
Yeah.
probably not. Like,
Yep.
your height, your shape, there's just so much that goes into that. And like
So much.
I can remember, oh my God, as a younger woman being so obsessed. Because, like, I grew up in the 90s. It's the era of the stick thin supermodel. If you're not
Yeah.
skinny, you're not pretty. Like, it was a really fucked up time for us to grow up, and like the things we consumed, and just, because there wasn't, like, there was internet eventually, but it wasn't what it is today. Like, there wasn't that much information unless it was the information being fed to us by the media, by the magazines, or whatever. So,
Yeah.
when I could finally let go of that number on the scale bothering me, I felt so empowered, and I felt so like, fuck yeah, like, because my body felt great. And everything you just said, how do your clothes fit? How are you feeling? Because it's not only beneficial to your body, your brain, your spirit, your outlook on life, like everything.
Yeah. And that's what, like, when clients come on board, it's so nice to hear them sometimes when they come on and they say, what's your goals, and we chat about, obviously, what they want to achieve. And it's so rewarding sometimes when they already come on and say, I've just noticed that, like, I can't climb up the stairs at work without, like, dying, or I can't go for a walk without feeling like my heart's going to come out my chest, or I've got back pain, or I've got, like, this pain. And these are things that, as we get older, we're more aware of. And when they use that as their goal, rather than be like, I want to be this number on the scales, like, that's something I have to completely take women away from, and say, like, that means absolutely nothing. There's a big difference between weight loss and fat loss. And a lot of people get them mixed up a lot. And it's seeing your body change for the better that betters your life in order for you to live your best life.
Preach.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes. I love that you said too about the weight loss, fat loss thing, because there's a gym, it's called F45. It's like a circuit. It's really great workout. So I did that for a bit here, and we did these challenges, and they had one of those scales that does your whole, like, body analysis, which I thought was really interesting. I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, and again, the point of me doing a challenge was for the camaraderie, for the fun. I just wanted to do it for myself. It wasn't a matter. I didn't care what those numbers said. But what you just said there is my weight, I think it might have even went up, but my fat loss compared, and my muscles built. So that's why the scale, it's so, don't get consumed with that. Because if you're building muscle, it's heavy. Your weight might go up.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is, like, that's another misconception as well, is that a lot of people think that, like, oh, muscle weighs more than fat, but actually it doesn't. Because it's the whole brick feather thing. 100 kilograms of bricks is the same as 100 kilograms of feathers. It's just that the volume, the sheer size of what 100 kilograms of feathers looks like compared to 100 kilograms of bricks, it's very different. So, and that's why I get clients to focus more on the kind of, like, measurements and photos, because photos especially will say a huge, huge difference. And when, like, clients are going through, like, 8-12 weeks, like, especially girls that are on my 12-week program, it's only when, like, I've put their photos together, they're like, oh my God, is that me? And, like,
right?
Yes, that is you. And I'm like, look at that bum, like, look at that, like, look at those shoulders, like, look at that shape you've got. Like, oh my God, I look amazing. I'm like, hell you do.
Yeah, you do, girl. Oh, and it's so great. You're speaking to my soul. The photos, like, and sometimes people are, like you just said, shocked. They're like, oh my God. And it's like, yeah, girl, like, you did that. That's all you.
Yeah. And I think another challenge, just kind of going back to, like, the challenge of my job, is getting women to consistently see that every week they check in with their weight and measurements. And, granted that, like, if they want to, they don't have to. But when they do that, a lot of the time they go straight to the weight. And if the weight number hasn't dropped, they're like, oh, I'm a bit deflated this week, Heather, because my weight hasn't dropped. I'm like, why? Number one, why are we focusing straight on weight? I said, your measurements, they've dropped. What's to be deflated about? And they went, oh, I was just, oh no, okay, yeah. And then you talk it through, and they're like, yeah. And I'm like, weight, whatever, like, it's going to fluctuate. We're, as a woman, like, and especially, like, we talk about
the time of the month.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's something I really preach about, is trying to educate women on actually just tracking their cycle much more. And this is irrelevant whether you get, like, some women are on contraceptions or, approaching perimenopause, menopause, whatever, and might not get an actual, what we call bleed, but the actual symptoms are way more important for you to understand your body more. And that's all that I want to make you aware of, because everyone is different, and some women sail through every month and are fine, and that's great. And some women have these issues and that issues and things. But if you don't log it or track it, how can you ever know how to deal with that or how to make, alterations? And a lot of the time, I see women get very frustrated around times of the month, and they just throw the towel in because they think that the actual, program or whatever they're doing is it's too hard. It's too hard. I can't do it. Like, I'm just having a bad day. Oh, I'm just going to throw it all in. I don't care. And actually, when you like peel it back like an onion, you go, okay, well, this might be something that you have to think about, or is this something? And then when I make notes of every single week we have a check-in, I'll make notes. And in 4 weeks' time, if they're coming back to me and saying the exact same thing, I'm like, girl, you said this. I'm like, this is like in a pivotal moment. I'm like, you said this 4 weeks ago. And they're like, oh my God. I'm like, okay, well, but before you like spoke to me today, did you check your tracker? Did you go on the app and check, what could possibly be? And I'm not saying ever that we use this as an excuse. I'm never saying like we shouldn't use these as excuses, because as women, we have to learn how to live with our bodies, but we deal with it. Like, we adapt, we change, we do what we can, and we don't give ourselves a hard time. There's always something you can do. And if you feel like if your appetite's increasing, or you feel like you hate everyone in sight that day, or you're tired, you're fatigued, you can't lift as much, sometimes that can be linked to cycle, and obviously sleep and all the other stuff. But
for sure on the cycle.
Yeah.
I love that you said that so much, because I track mine, just like I'm not on birth control. So it's also too, it's like, hey, when's my period coming? And I know my body so well. The week before my period, I am hungrier. My body's like, girl, we got to get our nutrients in because you're going to bleed next week. And I am definitely not, I wouldn't say crankier every single time, but I know my mood. Like, I can tell if I'm a little bit more moody or whatever. And it's always the week before. And I know, like clockwork, I'm like, I'm hungrier. Next week is the week.
You like look at your app and you're like, okay, that's fine. Okay. And like, I'll just increase my calories a little bit just so I can accommodate. But
and like listen to your body. Your body needs it. If you're hungry,
I'd say that 100% listen to your body. Like, that is probably the biggest thing that I just say to women. Like, your body is like a child or a dog, I'll say. Like, it will tell you when something is wrong. And, our bodies are smart. And the more you get to know about your own body, the more you are in control of your own knowledge and understanding. It's your power. It's your superpower to know, like, about your body. And when you do, you get your life together. Like,
It's so true, because like knowing your body, it ultimately, to me and my journey anyway, I'm just speaking on what my experience has been. It, like, I know my soul and my mind too. It's all interlinked, because when you start listening, it's like it tunes you into so much more. And I think for me anyway, it helped me trust myself more too as a person, because sometimes growing and healing, you betray yourself. Like, you do things where you're like, and it sometimes can take a bit to learn to let yourself listen to you, because nobody knows you better than you. I don't care what anyone says. Not one human on this planet knows you more than you do. They're not inside your brain. So let yourself have trust in you. And I love to, you said this earlier, like, have compassion and grace for yourself. Like, you're saying don't beat yourself up over when things are shifting. And, if your body is like, and I know too, even physically, I'm more swollen around period time too. So, you have to take all that into accountability.
You do. And it's actually, I love learning about my clients' bodies as well, because we track things every single week and every month. And, they see the fluctuations, and you see that change in them going, like, it's okay, Heather. Like, I know that it's pre-period week, or it is my period week, or whatever. And I'm just a bit swollen this week. And lo and behold, sometimes, their weight is spiked. And it's quite interesting. Sometimes you'll see like, bum, 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 spike, bum, 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 spike. And it's like, it's normal for that person. And everyone's different. And it's that's the biggest thing as well, is remembering that just because this person has those symptoms and that's how, their weight or their symptoms work, doesn't mean that that's going to be the same for you. And it also means that just because you have that 1 month doesn't mean that's going to happen every single month. And it's not to expect it, and it's not to use it as an excuse, but it's just to say you need to be aware of that if it does happen, then have a little think to yourself, what is that? Like, did I not sleep well last night? Have I not fed my body right?
Did I drink enough water?
Yeah, like, I'm actually due my period next week. Okay, that could be an option. Yeah, okay. Well, let's just go with that. Like,
That's right. Do that little self-check. I feel like that's so important too, because even like I said, with my mood and stuff, I'm like, did I sleep? Did I eat? Did I drink water? Like I always do that. If something's off, I'm like, I do that initial check, because that's your baseline. If you're not sleeping, eating, hydrating, you're not going to feel very good. So baseline there. And then if it's none of those things, then you can, like you're saying, peel the layers back more. Be like, okay, where's this stemming from? What is this? So I love that you do that with your clients, is you actually like build that rapport and relationship with them. Because I think if you're in fitness and that industry, I need to be comfortable with my coach. Like I need to, because you're vulnerable. You're opening up a part of yourself that maybe you're shy about or whatever. So I like that you actually connect with them on that level too. Like that's very awesome.
Like that was the biggest thing for me becoming a coach, is that I want to literally hold my clients' hands through the trenches. And that was something that, like, I don't believe in being dictated to. So, I'm not going to say to my clients, oh, do X, Y, and Z and like not listen to them. It's a personal approach that I take with my clients on a personal level, because that's exactly what it is. You're very vulnerable. You're opening up to someone that about, something that you might not feel very comfortable with, the fact that you put on weight, or you can't do basic, everyday, skills and things like that anymore. And sometimes to actually admit that you want help and to reach out to someone is the biggest step you have taken. And saying that to someone, I need guidance, I need help. And I'm like, girl, I'm there for you. Like, I'm never going to judge you. I'm never going to make you feel bad. I'm never going to make you feel guilty. I want to be able to educate you and show you like why this doesn't work and why this works. And when you don't make the right choices, that's okay. We just learn from them and we move on. It's when you make that same mistake over and over again, that's why we're not achieving our goals. And that's why we got here in the first place. So it's just having that, like, I love them. They're like my clients literally are my life. Like I care a lot about them, and all the time my husband will tell you that, and like I'm always thinking about my clients, and I'm like, is she okay? I wonder, like, and he's like, Heather, you're not at work right now. And I'm like, I know.
I really love that, because I care deeply for people as well. And I just think that's so key, especially in what you do, but just in life, just to care for people. And it just shows that you genuinely want to serve their highest good. And I freaking love that. It's so good.
And that's what you should do as a coach. And that's why there's a lot of, the health and fitness industry has a bad name in some ways, because sadly, like any industry, I suppose, there are people out there that don't have that. And I think as a coach, that is a really important part of what people are coming to you for. And if I was wanting a coach, I want someone that completely understands me and listens to me, but also can educate me and kind of like, go, oh, I know that, or like, well, that makes sense, or learn, so that you can go away and you can start living your life yourself, and you don't have to waste more time and money on, and trying to search for those answers again.
That's right. Help people have those light bulb moments, because, sometimes you hear maybe the same thing 5 times, but it's not until someone says it in a certain way that it makes sense in your brain. Because like sometimes logically I might know something, but it won't really sink in or hit home for me until it's said in a certain way, or someone in particular says it in their like, I don't know what that is, but I love that you give people that as well, because it's just so key. So key.
It is very key.
I love that. I was going to ask, do you have a morning routine, or are you just kind of a wing it kind of girl?
No, I do have a morning routine. And I mean, I'd say it's slightly changed since becoming pregnant.
Yes.
But I mean, to be honest, I had a very good morning routine in COVID during that time. So obviously, we didn't ever have a full lockdown. We're very grateful for that, but we did have a lot of restrictions in place.
Yeah.
But I will always try and get up like every single morning at the same time. I do try and say to clients, try and get up within like, 1 to 2 hours of the normal time you get up. It's nothing set in stone, but one big thing I'll always say to clients is the first thing you get up in the morning, and I always have a glass of water. Like you need to hydrate your body first thing. We obviously with aircon here on all night, and then obviously you slept. It was like get a glass of water in first of all. And then I'll usually have, before getting pregnant, I was doing a lot of yoga in the morning as well. So I would do my 10 minutes of yoga, and then I would get dressed, I would have my coffee, and I sit down at my desk, and then I just basically start my work. But my day varies very much from day to day because I do have morning clients that train with me face to face. So I do face-to-face PT. I also do online coaching as well. So then I've got group classes as well. So my day is very varied, but my mornings, I'm a morning person to a T. I love the morning. So like it's always a toss up between trying to get a workout in the mornings as well as trying to do my work, but also trying to get a walk, because as soon as like 3-4 o'clock hit, I'm like, okay, I'm flagging.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel that. I feel like my afternoon time around then too, I get like a little sleepy and I'm like, okay, I need to boost myself a bit here. So I feel that. I definitely prefer, I mean, I'll work out whenever, but I love the mornings because it just sets my day up so good. And I'm like, all those endorphins, I'm like, yeah, let's do this. Let's own this day. Like it makes my day so much better.
Honestly. And that's like, I say to like a lot of people, sometimes people are not morning people, and that's fine. Don't force something that's not going to happen.
No,
so
exactly.
Some people, work out in the evening if it's easier for you, but I would love to do everything in the morning, but I can't do everything in the morning.
I feel that, girl. And I find too, if I work out too late, I'm too wired. I'm too like pumped up and I can't sleep. So I'm like, okay, it has to have a happy medium time for me for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. Whereas now when I'm pregnant, I'm just literally just like, okay, I need to get up. I'm in the morning. I'm like, I'm hungry again. How am I hungry again? I went to bed full. It's like, normally before I wouldn't be hungry for breakfast in the morning. And now I'm like, oh, baby's got to eat. Baby's hungry. Like, okay.
I wanted to ask too, like, what keeps you motivated? Some people, they'll have mantras they think of. Like, what's your motivation?
That's actually a really good question, because it's a question that comes up a lot with clients. And they'll ask, like, how do you stay motivated? Like, and especially when I ask, like, what's your biggest struggle? And they'll say motivation. And the bottom line is, like, I always say to them, no one is motivated 24/7. Like, I don't believe anyone that says that they are. Like any coaches or personal trainers out there or whatever, like they're lying to you if they say you're motivated 24/7.
It's true.
But like I always say to clients, like, you have to remember your why, bottom line. Because your why is going to keep you going for longer than anything else. There was a reason why you came to me. There was a reason why you wanted to change something about your health and fitness, and there was a reason why that was important to you. And sometimes you lose sight of that when things get difficult and challenging and you give up, but you will probably always go back to that. Yeah, I should really do something again. I should really do something about my health and fitness. I should really exercise more. I should eat better, blah, blah. And you will constantly go in this cycle, but you need to make sure that you owe it to yourself. Like, there's a reason why you want to do this. There's a reason why you invested in yourself and in your health. And as my granny always said, health is your wealth. Basically.
Yes. Yes, Granny.
If you don't have your health, you don't have anything. So it is the biggest reason for doing that. And over time, it is obviously about, having a bit self-discipline as well and learning what you enjoy, because it's no point in saying, oh, this person doesn't have self-discipline, but like, she's just failing. I'm like, well, you need to find your groove. You need to find your routine. You need to find something you enjoy, because if you don't enjoy something, you won't keep it up long term.
Exactly.
And that's the biggest thing as well. It's like finding something that works for you, because what works for you might not work for someone else. So just because, your next door neighbor down the road is doing this sort of program doesn't mean that works for you. If you don't like HIIT, don't do HIIT. If you don't like, swimming, don't do swimming, but find something that works for you. And at the end of the day, always remember that you'll never regret a workout. It doesn't matter if it's not the best workout. It always makes you feel good.
Yep, it's so true. And I find too, like, because I love so many different things, like, I find something that I've had to realize about myself is it's okay if I switch what I'm doing, if that's what works for me.
Because obviously there's
Yeah.
certain recommendations I will give to clients and say, like, any kind of strength or resistance based training is 100% my vibe, but that
Yes.
doesn't mean you have to be in a gym. I would say probably about 75% of my clients work out from home, and especially over the last 2 years with everything that's gone on,
Mm.
like, working out from home is very accessible and it works for a lot of people now. And I've
Hmm.
had clients have the most amazing results from working out at home.
Yeah.
So there is always something you can do, always something. You don't have, and
Always.
the gym is a very intimidating place for a lot of women to start off with, but it's actually quite nice sometimes where clients have come in and said, oh, I'm quite scared about this, kind of going into the gym. And actually, a year down the line, they're like, I went into my gym today, Heather. I went and, I did a
Guess
workout. And I'm
what?
like, what? I was like, get you, girl. Yes. Like, that's
Yes. Oh,
proud of
I
myself.
love that. All that confidence. That's the thing too, right? It helps you build like your self-esteem, which is all us, everyone. We're talking about women empowerment. Like, girls, you're a superhero, so own it.
Absolutely. Own it. Own it.
Yes. So, my God, we've talked about so much stuff. I'm so happy we did this. I was like, this is going to be good. I already knew. And then as soon as we started talking, I was like, oh, yeah. So, let's get your final words of wisdom. What do you got for us? You already dropped a lot of wisdom, so.
Well, I was like, I do actually have one quote. Bottom line is, as we said, listening to your body is your own power.
Yes.
That is a quote that I always will try and get clients to remember, is that listening to your body is your own power.
I love that. I'm writing it down. I love that. I love that so much because I find too, when you realize like it is your power and you're in control of it, it's empowering. I mean, I guess power is in the word empowerment, right? But it
Yep.
is because I feel like a bad bitch. I'm like, yes, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna rock it and it's gonna be amazing. And it's just such a good boost for your
Yeah.
everything.
It
Hmm.
is. You should be, everyone should appreciate their bodies in very different ways, from what
Yeah.
they're able to do and, what they can do, what they can achieve. And it's rewarding when you hear people like, I never thought I'd be able to do this, or I never thought I'd be able to
Yeah.
fit into those clothes, or I never
Mm.
thought I would feel, like I did before giving birth, or like it actually, like, it makes me honestly like cry every
I
time
was
I get
literally
messages.
I was
Like, I
like, you're
get
making me
messages.
tear up.
It's just from clients, and they're like, I just never thought that this was ever possible. I was sitting actually yesterday and I got a message from a client. My husband came in, I was like, oh, I was like, this is
Oh.
so emotional. I was like, I don't know, it's pregnancy probably as well. It's just like everything's just making me emotional right now. But I was
I'm a
like, every
crier,
time.
so I feel that like when someone tells me something moving or like exactly like what you're saying, I get teary-eyed because it's just you feel that like
Yeah.
what it's just such an accomplishment and to help someone feel like they can do this, like they've got this, and like they're not alone, and all of those things that you offer
Yeah.
to women. I love it so, so much. And I just want to thank you for sharing what you do with us today and just sharing your beautiful light. Like you are so cute. Like you're just the sweetest little vibe. And it's so funny because it's literally like, what, 10 years? No time has passed.
No, I mean, I would talk for forever. Like, that's my problem. I would just talk forever and not stop. So,
That's so good. But what you do is so important. And I know there's people listening who will resonate with what you do and what you've had to say and just your journey in general. And I just really want to express my gratitude to you and appreciate you taking the time to come on before you give birth to the baby.
I know. This is mad and mad. But no, thank you for asking me to come on. It's been an absolute pleasure, an
Yeah.
honor to. As I said, I could talk about this all day about women empowerment to everyone, and
Right?
so I'm, yeah, more than happy to spread my word and my
Yeah.
so-called wisdom, as you said, as
Oh,
well.
heck yeah, girl. It is wisdom. Like you're dropping it on us. And I've gained something from this today and I know the people listening will too. And I just love it. This brings me joy. So thank you for
Good,
everything.
good. I hope I can bring some sort of joy to anyone who's listening today as well.
Yes. Also, we'll get your social media, website, anything we can plug in. So anyone listening or watching on YouTube, if you've resonated with Heather today and you want to connect, she's going to tell us how.
Sure. So my website is www.hkmfitness.com. That's after my name. That's actually my maiden name as well. So people think HKM is my business, but that's my initials. But actually, people think it's Hong Kong, but it just works.
Oh, it does work.
Yeah. So I'm like, well, yeah, I totally thought of that. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, that was it.
So hkmfitness.com is my website. I'm also on Instagram. You can find me at hkm.fitnesscoaching. And then I'm also on Facebook as well, which is HKM Fitness Coaching as well. So nice and easy to find.
Yes, we like things easy here. And I'll have everything, like she's going to be tagged. Everything's going to be linked. There won't be any problems finding Heather if you want to connect with her and see the amazing courses and everything she offers. Like I'm sure there's so much more that we didn't even get to touch on because we were so busy talking about all the good empowerment, but that's what we're here
Absolutely.
for.
I'm sure my Instagram will give you some entertainment with my massive bump at the moment. I'm just embracing it and dancing all over the place. So if you're looking for a little pick me up, I hope that I can kind of bring a little bit of a non-serious thing to think.
Oh, I love that. I love to laugh. I love to feel light. So I'm here for it. All the bump dancing.
Nice.
So thank you everyone for tuning into our episode. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you like the channel, subscribe. It'll help build up our beautiful community even more. If you're listening via podcast, make sure you give us a rating. Let us know what you think. And I want to express my gratitude to all of you tea drinkers. We are going all the way up. We're in the top 10 percentile. We're going to just keep going. Top 1%. We're on our way. And it's only been 6 months. So I'm so excited for this journey. And it wouldn't be possible without amazing guests like Heather and amazing listeners like all y'all. So thank you so much for tuning in. That is our tea time. And we will see you next time.